When I was 20 years old, I was already very much enthralled with the work of William Butler Yeats. And I was in a Seattle bookstore, and towards the back was a stack of The Dial, which was a literary magazine in the 1920s, which had published a great deal of Yeats and work by Ezra Pound and work by T.S. Eliot and work by Marianne Moore and Hilda Doolittle, and included art from the period as well. And I love the time capsule effect of these things, but I didn't expect the utter shock of looking at the page of one of the magazines and finding Yeats's Second Coming, which, published in 1920 in The Dial, is still so urgently relevant to us. And the passage of 105 years has done nothing to dull its urgent modernity. And it's one of these poems which has seeped so deeply into our culture that even if you haven't ever read it, you will recognize many of the phrases from it. It goes, "Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and head of a man, I gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs, while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle, and what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born. Lapis lazuli. I have heard that hysterical women say they're sick of the palette and fiddle bow of poets that are always gay. For everybody knows, or else should know, that if nothing drastic is done, Aeroplane and Zeppelin will come out, pitch like King Billy, bomb balls in until the town lie beaten flat. All perform their tragic play. There's Hamlet, there's Lear, that Ophelia, that Cordelia. Yet they, should the last scene be there, the great stage curtain about to drop, if worthy of their prominent part in the play, do not break up their lines to weep. They know that Hamlet and Lear are gay, gaiety transfiguring all their dread. All men have aimed at, found, and lost. Black out, heaven blazing into the head, tragedy wrought to its uttermost, though Hamlet rambles and Lear rages, and all the drop scenes drop at once upon 100,000 stages, it cannot grow by an inch or an ounce. On their feet they came, or on shipboard, horseback, assback, camelback, muleback, old civilizations put to the sword. Then they and their wisdom went to rack. No handiwork of Callimachus, who handled marble as if it were bronze, made draperies that seemed to rise when sea winds swept the corner stands. His long lamp chimney, shaped like the stem of a slender bird, stood but a day. All things fall and are built again, and those that build them again are gay. Two Chinamen, behind them a third, are carved in lapis lazuli. Over them flies a long-legged bird, a symbol of longevity. The third, doubtless a serving man, carries a musical instrument. Every discoloration in the stone, every accidental crack or dent seems a watercourse or an avalanche or lofty slope where it still snows, though doubtless plum or cherry blossom sweetens the little halfway house those Chinamen climb towards, and I delight to imagine them seated there on the mountain and the sky. On all the tragic scene they stare. One asks for mournful melodies. Accomplished fingers begin to play. Their eyes, mid many wrinkles, their eyes, their ancient glittering eyes, are gay. That was Lapis Lazuli by the great Irish poet William Butler Yeats, born in 1865, and by the time he died in 1939, he had captured the hearts and psyches and souls of millions who cherished his words. In 1939, the year of his passing, the world once again seemed on the verge of a second great war after the first, which was supposed to be the war to end all wars. And the great poet W.H. Auden wrote an elegy to William Butler Yeats, conflating the crisis in the world with the death of Yeats, picturing Yeats as an indomitable spirit which would transfigure pain and suffering. In the nightmare of the dark, all the dogs of Europe bark, and the living nations wait, each sequestered in its hate. Intellectual disgrace stares from every human face, and the seas of pity lie locked and frozen in each eye. Follow poet, follow right, to the bottom of the night. With your unconstraining verse, make a vineyard of the curse. Sing of human unsuccess in a rapture of distress. In the desert of the heart, let the healing fountain start. In the prison of his days, teach the free man how to praise. How to praise? Yeats had again and again dived down into the nightmare of the dark and come up with a vision of transfiguring suffering into sublimity. I am content to live it all again and yet again, if life be but to pitch into the frog spawn of a blind man's ditch. I'm content to follow to its source every event in action or in thought. Measure the lot. Forgive myself the lot. When such as I cast out remorse, so great a sweetness flows into the breast. We must laugh and we must sing. We are blessed by everything. Everything we look upon is blessed. In 1899, Yeats published a book of poems called Wind Among the Reeds, and unlike his earliest poems, which had been very much part of the Celtic twilight and was full of Irish mythology, Yeats's Wind Among the Reeds reached towards a more universal symbology. This is Michael Robertus bids his beloved be at peace. I hear the shadowy horses, their long manes a-shake, their hoofs heavy with tumult, their eyes glimmering white. The north unfolds above them, clinging, creeping night. The east, her hidden joy before the morning break. The west weeps in pale dew, sighs passing away. The south is pouring down roses of crimson fire. O vanity of sleep, hope, dream, endless desire, the horses of disaster plunge in the heavy clay. Beloved, let your eyes half close, and your heart beat over my heart, and your hair fall over my breast, drowning love's lonely hour in deep twilight of rest, and hiding their tossing manes and their tumultuous feet. Later in life, Yeats was looking for symbols of permanent beauty, a sort of resting place for his soul, and looked at Ireland, which before he had celebrated for its natural fecundity and its greenness and its surging life, and he turns away from it, looking for forms of more permanent beauty appropriate to his age. And this is Yeats's Sailing to Byzantium. That, speaking of Ireland, that is no country for old men. The young in one another's arms, birds in the trees, those dying generations at their song. Fish, flesh, or fowl commend all summer long whatever is begotten, born, and dies. Caught in that sensual music, all neglect monuments of unaging intellect. An aged man is but a paltry thing, a tattered coat upon a stick, unless soul clap its hands and sing, and louder sing for every tatter in its mortal dress. Nor is there singing school, but studying monuments of its own magnificence. And therefore I have sailed the seas and come to the holy city of Byzantium. O sages standing in God's holy fire, as in the gold mosaic of a wall, come from the holy fire, burn in a gyre, and be the singing masters of my soul. Consume my heart away, sick with desire and fastened to a dying animal. It knows not what it is, and gather me into the artifice of eternity. Once out of nature, I shall never take my form from any natural thing, but such a form as Grecian goldsmiths make of hammered gold and gold enameling to keep a drowsy emperor awake, or set upon a golden bough to sing the lords and ladies of Byzantium of what is past, or passing, or to come. All right, I'll be returning to William Butler Yeats in another video soon. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. It makes a difference.